Okay, so I started working at Designer Circle from 12 to 8, and I moved out of the West Island and moved down onto Park because it was too hard traveling the 45 minutes, and it would take me about an hour to get to work and then an hour to come back home. It's quite late at night because I'd be off at 8 and I would have to work at the, or wait at the, I had to catch the bus to the metro, and then the metro to the bus, and then 45 minute, I would get home about 10 p.m. So I moved down and got myself a little place close close to work, but um, I still had to catch the bus from work to where I live, but it was only, or the metro. Yeah, just the metro from where I worked to where I lived was two stops. I could have walked it in summertime, it's only 2 blocks, right? Well, anyways, so of course I'm about 24 years old at the time when we moved to Montreal. So I used to go dancing at the Salsa Attack on the weekend, the clubs down in Montreal, because I didn't even have to catch a metro from Park where I was living, because the bus run every hour, all night long, 24 hours, every hour up Park Avenue, up the big hill, from downtown St. Catharines and Saint Laurent Street and Saint Denis and old part of Montreal, and I did a lot of walking. I mean, this is a big city. I'm coming from a small little city, so I took the metro. I knew the whole metro. I went all over the place, in Montreal. So I used to go dancing. So this is when I met the kids' father, my two oldest, my oldest daughter and bro. Now, I used to go salsa attack, like I said. Used to like the dancing. I liked the music. I liked all that. I enjoyed myself. So I met him. Now his parents was from El Salvador, and then he moved to the States for a while, and then he moved to Canada. So I think he was living with his cousin at the time, and he was a year younger than me, so he was 23, and he was living with his cousin, and he was working days in a factory from 8 to 4, but I was still working 12 to 8. So we started going together, and he moved in with me because it was a lot closer to his work, because I was really close to the metro compared to his cousin was way, 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 way out. Like it took him quite a while for him to get to his work. Actually, my work was, he could walk from where I lived. So anyways, so we were going to marry. We were going to marry, and I got pregnant for my oldest, and we had such different hours. He'd go to work, I come home, I'd be sleeping, and it was just on the weekends, because I only work Monday, Friday, and him too. So at least on the weekends we would go out, and he was really nice, really, really nice. And when I became pregnant for my oldest, I ended up selling that land in Minto, the 10 acres, because I needed money, right? So me and Mom went half. I gave her half, I took half, and I had it in the bank. I never told him about it because he didn't need to know. We weren't married, and he started acting up. Like, I come home from work 8, well, I was off at 8. I'd get home 15 minutes, 8:15. I'd be sitting there, and he'd come home from his meetings or whatever, and he'd say, "I'm home now, you can cook me something." And I'm pregnant. You can put your book down. Or if I'm knitting, or if I'm doing something, watching a program, I'm home now. I'm saying, so, go cook yourself something. Like, come on. Anyway, so he started getting bossy and everything. So I'm saying, I'm not marrying this guy. He's going to have to behave himself. He wanted attention all the time, and I'm saying to myself, now, once this baby's born, it's already probably about 6, 7 months, he's going to want all the attention. He's not going to get it. I mean, hey, baby comes first before him. Anyway, he wasn't raised that way, but that's another story. This is what he was telling me. But, so, one day after work, this before I had my daughter, I'm going somewhere on the weekend. It was the weekend, and I don't know. I think I was going to go shop, or I was going to go do something. And all of a sudden, I see him screaming to this girl. It was raining. Mom was with me. I had an umbrella, dollar store umbrella, but I had an umbrella, cheap old umbrella. And I seen him up there because I went to a different metro. See, not I got off at one. I think I missed my stop. Something happened, but I was at a different metro. I looked up, seen him in the sky, yelling at this girl. He's yelling, "Hey, I want to talk to you. Hey, pretty," and all this stuff. Well, guess what I did? I came up behind him, tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned around. I said, "What are you doing? Yelling at these girls?" Well, here I'm pregnant. I took that umbrella and I beat the crap out of him. I broke the crap right out of this umbrella. I'm telling you, I beat him. I beat him good. So, I said, "That's it, I'm done. You're out. Come get your stuff tonight. Mom's going to be there with me. You better get your stuff and move." I said, "Because I'm done with you. I'm done." So anyways, and I said, "You owe me an umbrella." He said, "Take me to court. Take me to court." Anyways, that's whatever. So he came, got his stuff. So then I still had the money in the bank. Mom did too, but I moved back with Mom back to the West Island because I was going to be done my work soon anyway because having a baby. So, and I had that money, spare money, to take care of, get a crib. And so we moved in together. So then he comes crying when she's about, which I'd still let him, he'd come and see her and bring some diapers or something for her and a toy. But I always had Mom present, I always had someone there. But anyways, so he came one time, I think when she was a year old, or less than a year, 8 months, come crying. His mother passed away in El Salvador. He was close to his mom. His mom and father separated when he was like 10, 11 or something, and his mom kept care of him. So, and his sisters and brothers. So anyways, he was missing the baby and he wanted to change, and Mom and my aunt was present at the time because he came visiting at my aunt's house. Oh, down on his hands and knees and everything. "Oh, I'm so sorry," crying. "I know I mistreated you," and blah 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 blah. I want to try to make us to be together as a family. And I said, "Well, I'm not moving in with you right away. You're going to have to show me that you changed. Because if you're running, I don't want nothing to do with you. Nothing." So anyways, so we started seeing each other, start going out and everything. And well, I got pregnant for bro. Now, he was still behaving. I was thinking on moving because I had my oldest and I was pregnant, and I was considering us get married and moving back together. He changed. He was nice, but we weren't living together. Anyhow, so I think I was about 8 months pregnant with bro. I get a phone call from this girl, a friend of Linda's. I think you should know this, but my friend's pregnant, 3 months pregnant, by him. I'm like, what? Well, Linda was his ex-girlfriend before he met me. I guess they started seeing each other when I was pregnant for her, when I took him back. And I got pregnant for bro. So anyways, I said, okay, that's nice to know. So I said, don't tell him I know. Tell Linda. Nobody tell him. So that weekend he's coming over. So I got a phone call. You got this Linda girl pregnant? Well, he turned. I said, I'm not going to hit you. I got no umbrella. Don't worry about it. Momma was present, but they were in the other room. They were watching because I'm pregnant and they don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm going to end up in hospital or jail because I was ripping. So anyways, I said, well, what do you want? I said, do you want her? Well, I don't know. I love you both. I said, no. You're not having both. I said, you go with Linda. So I can't make up my mind. I said, well, I made up my mind. I said, you go with her. And you can marry her and do whatever, which he did. He married her. And so anyway, so he came and seen bro as an infant with the other kid. He was probably 4 or 5 months old. I think he's seen him twice. And Linda came. I didn't have, it's not her fault. She didn't know about me. I didn't know about her. So once I had him, I went and took a secretarial course in accounting in Montreal because I had to go back to work. I was ready to go back to work. And just before I was done my course, in that January, my aunt passed away, to cancer. So I knew I was going to move back to New Brunswick because they just got married. He only came maybe 2-3 times in a year to come visit the kids. So I wanted to move back to New Brunswick. No reason my aunt's kids were grown up by then, and the youngest went with the other aunt, and the middle one, she was graduating, and the oldest one got married, and so I'm talking 10 years. Well, 7 years. She fought cancer 6 or 7 years. So yeah, 6, 7 years. But anyway, so I knew I was going to move back home. So in June, when I was done my course, and I even told him, I said, I'm moving back to New Brunswick. He said, okay. So, good. Anyway, so I was supposed to do a on-the-job training course they call STASH in Montreal. And I decided to do it at a bank because I knew when I moved back to New Brunswick it was a 3-week thing. It'd be easier to find. I could get a good recommendation, get experience, and easier because if I go to like Royal Bank or Bank of Montreal or Bank of Nova Scotia or any of those banks, they're all across Canada, right? So I just had to choose a bank. So I went to Royal Bank because that's a big bank. So I went there. I did 2 weeks on the teller, and then 1 year on the reception or the secretary, and then so the end of June we moved back to New Brunswick, me and Mom. So we moved back. We were in Minto. We moved to Minto because we had relatives, and we stayed at my aunt's. It was summertime, June, and she went to the lake, so we knew, because I knew if I was going to find a job, it would be in Fredericton, and I had June, July, August, September, October, November. I had 6 months to find a job, and so that we could move out, because my aunt, she lived in the summertime at the cottage at the camp. So we moved to Minto, and I would get a drive every other day with my cousin that was going into Fredericton, because I wanted to move back to Fredericton. Nothing was in Minto. So Mom would take care of the kids, and so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I would drop off my resumes. I went to the Royal Bank, had a good reference. I had some experience, but it's June. They just hired the students. They all told me, you got to come back in August. You got to come back in August. You got to come back in August. All the banks. And Mom was getting upset because she was like, you got to find a job. We got to be out of here by, And I said, well, I can't help it. I said, we moved here at the wrong time. I said, to find a job. We got summer students that took up the jobs. So, anyways, how many time? Because I'm going to be on to part 4 here pretty soon. Okay, so then I called Dad up. He's in St. John. I said, Dad, Mom's driving me crazy here. I said, because she got to watch the kids. I said, I've been going into Fredericton. I said, I can't. I'm having a hard time finding a job. I said, can I get a drive with my cousin that was working in St. John? He would travel Sunday night from Minto to because his family, his wife and kids was in Minto, and travel Sunday night to St. John, work the week, and he had a room there, and then Friday night go back to Minto and spend the weekend with his wife and kids. And I said, can I get a drive in with him? And I said, just 1 week. I said, so I'll do my resumes and pass them out to all the banks, because there's only one road. Like, there's one main road, King Street, and there's like 6 or 7 banks on it. So I figured I'd hit that up, because if I have to move to St. John, we'll move to St. John. I really didn't like St. John, but I had to get out of Minnow. Minnow was worse. So he said, yeah. He said, I'll ask his wife. They had 2 kids. So anyways, they had a big house, so they had room. And so she said yes. And I said, I'll drive in on Sunday night with my cousin. And Monday morning, I knew there were a city bus that went by Dad's. So I took the bus, because I had to go, because my resumes had all Minto address on it, phone number. So Monday, this is my thing. Monday morning, I took the bus into the EI, unemployment insurance, and I did my resumes. I changed the address and phone number to Dad's, and phone number. And then I took the bus in town on King Street. So on King Street, I went to the Royal Bank was the first one, and then CIBC, and then the Scotia Bank. Well, about 5 or 6 banks anyway. Then I went into an employment agency and made up an appointment for Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. to do the testing, because they do a testing, And then as an agency, sort of like where I worked in Fredericton, like I was saying about the agencies, they would place you places, and then sometimes you get a job, you know. If not, then, but anyway, it's work. So so I went to all the banks. Then I went back to the EI to make, because I think I made 15 resumes, copies, and I ran out. So I went back to EI to print out more, because after my appointment on King Street, the placement agency, I was gonna go to other places, right? So I made more resumes. So then I called Dad. I said, because I need drive. He said, once you're done, you're doing your thing, and after he's done work, he said, just give me a call and I'll pick you up. And I said, well, my last stop is going to go back to EI to do more printing at Place 4000 or whatever it was. He said, okay. So I called Dad up about 5 p.m. because I was out all day. Dad said, where are you? I said, I'm at EI. He said, well, the Royal Bank called here and want you to call them back. I said, oh, really? I said, yeah, I got a name and number. They wanted me to call them back by 6. Well, it could have been about 4 when I called him, because he wasn't working at the time. So anyway, I had to call them. I had like a half hour. I said, but Dad didn't live very far from there. So anyways, I went home and I gave them a call. So this is still Monday, about between 4 and 5. I gave them a call. And we'll do another part and I'll continue.